Hello there guys, it's Joey and this is a requested duo of beeswax candles for the store. So it was requested that I create a beeswax candle for Arthur, as in King Arthur from Arthurian legend, and Merlin from Arthurian legend as well, obviously, though Tales in Merlin comes from the Celtic mythos as well, so there is crossover with regards to those. And for these two to be a set, so they come together and they work together, sort of thing. And that's why I decided to go with the same crystal, obsidian, through both of the beeswax. You can probably see on Merlin a little bit better, and there's 4 here for King Arthur. So we'll have a look at Merlin first and then move on to Arthur. There we go, let's go at an angle, it's probably easier. Yeah, so Merlin is a dark deep green, and hopefully you can see it never shows up as well as I hope. The deep shimmy worked in. Again, a different variant of green, as well as 7 erroneously placed black obsidian. They've been moved so they look like they're moving on purpose. They sort of look like they're moving in a twisted, almost snake-like pattern, and that's quite specific. Tailsin is considered to be a druid, and another name for the druid is known as snakes, and if you didn't know this, then the driving of the snakes out of Ireland is actually reference to the driving out of the druids of Ireland. So it gives it a little bit of a transformational snake-like energy, bringing in that element of druidic nature, and it had to be a deep green for Merlin. I could have gone in a different direction, but I really wanted to pay homage to his druidic roots, him being a magician, wizard of the earth, and tie it down through the Celtic mythos that way, because there is a deep respect for nature and the world around him, and that interconnectedness with all living creatures. In the mythos with Tailsin from the Celtic mythos, he shapeshifts in order to transcend, and that is learning all the ways of magic through the animal kingdom. It's very specific within his mythos, so it had to tie to that nature, keep to that deep earthy feel of a druidic beeswax candle. And obviously the beeswax candles only allow so much scope with regards to creativity, so we have to keep it in broad strokes of how I felt about Merlin energy. There are 7 obsidians. 7th son of the 7th son is a wizard, Harry. In the myth, so it goes that 7th son of the 7th son is a wizard. So therefore I wanted that little numerology play within the crystals there as well. So then we have Arthur. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell. Now Arthur is, well, you might be able to. Arthur is actually a deep, rich purple. It looks almost black, but it is in fact a very deep purple. And the very deep, rich purple colour is an alluding to royalty. Because at one point only the royals were allowed to wear purple, and royal purple is actually a thing within history, but it also ties to the myth, so it gives it an elevation to sovereignty, and I really thought the deep purple brought that out really well, because it's that very dark, very serious, very structured, very regal purple, and that signifies the role of the king. And we have 4 obsidian on this one, and I decided to keep obsidian across the board. Now, obsidian I've used for Merlin because it's a scryer stone, it's a magician stone, but obsidian for the king works as well because it has a really good commanding and strong energy, like a directing energy. So it has the ability to cut, very much like Excalibur in the hand of Arthur. It can cut through anything. It's a very strong stone, and it ties in with the other the other sorceresses. The Sorceresses of Avalon beeswax candles are all obsidian based as well, so I wanted to keep that so the thread ran through quite nicely. There is a gold shimmy shimmy to further reinstate the regality of the King Arthur, and the energies within for him are very, very structured. 4 being a very, I don't want to say rigid again, rigid and structured. It feels almost lawful in its nature. It has like a justice and a law element to the number 4, which reflects that aspect of King Arthur. I'm a big fan of King Arthur, by the way. I'd always choose Arthur over anybody. Anybody who's seen BBC Merlin, oh my goodness, Arthur was perfect, just perfect. So together I think they work really nicely as well. I think that the deep darker colours work really well off one another, and so they become a pair, they become a duo, very much like in the myth, working together. So I hope you like them, and many blessings.